feels like they have to dodge, right?
VP are the one who are dodging. VP are running a safe tri lane right now. They got Smile on this off lane. It's almost like VP don't want to take the risk. I was really worried they'd do something like this. VP were a team during the TI qualifiers that we looked at them and we thought, okay, they got so much potential, but during the first period of it all, it just looked like us. And then they came in during the last part of the playoffs, and they played some of the greatest Dota they have. They played to their style, they played to their aggressive style, and they came out on top. We're coming to this competition and go safety first, game number 1. That was like my major concern, and that's kind of what I'm seeing right now. It's safety first. They just farm it up, and then they come and kill things. But this lineup, it's
the battle begins.
Meant for level 1 fighting. It's meant for level 1, maybe even level 2 fighting to buy space for the Tinker to come in.
Not only that.
Illusion.
On the obviously that's
I'm wondering if he's actually listening to us. Because normally he is meant to be listening to us. I think we're actually picking up inside the game for him as well. Griff, give us a smiley face on a drawing if you're actually listening to us right now. Give this man a headset. Also, I'm assuming he hasn't hit that button either.
I don't even know what's going on, guys!
Maybe I do take control back again. Either way, yeah, so the warding, we're actually seeing it here. So there's actually a dire observer ward that's causing some troubles here for MVP. They can't pull through. And they put an observer ward down, but Smile's not going to come out and show this at all. And also, if you look at the minimap right now, Mirana's doing just an easy... Even with an illusion, she was stacking up the ancient area. So that's actually really nice by Jottam. He's waiting for the moment too, when they can just kill off QO. If he can hit that arrow, they're trying to keep him a little bit closer, but they're not going to connect on this one. He needs to basically be... That's why I thought like an SD or something like that was going to be their pickup. Like, I know the Bane was the final ban out by MVP. Make sure they didn't have that full ass combo, but the SD still could have done that.
Exactly is Skyrap Mage. Never really seen Army Skyrap Mage before. As for a hero like Warlock, we know what he's gonna get. He's gonna bring the team by ones to get Aghanims. Pressure, so Illidan's gonna have a lot to kind of shoulder his. Once the team fights are coming, if you don't get off your silence, your hero has very little.
Just because I really. Down, so this mic basically stays permanently on, so you can hear us. Nice little haste screen, but he can't really do much more with this. The early damage from a Shadow Shaman, like, he's meant to work in combination with somebody, and that's just not coming from this. Got himself a kill on that mid lane. But this Mirana's wasting a lot of time. Like, okay, Ennett's getting some good levels. This is nice for him, but like, we've still got this Mirana sitting here at level 1. Bristvax's taking a lot of damage as well. Bristvax is actually going to go down. Wasn't me. We're on auto camera, peoples. We're on auto camera. I'm sorry. Yeah, but he was a little bit too close. So Skywrath Mage able to pick up the first blood. It's a lot of these slows which is difficult to try and compete up against. And Jottam, well, he at least gets spotted. Look at Smile. Like, when you cog like that, you just dictate where MVP have to move. Now, Shackles can happen. Jottam, he's still got the Arrow of Valva right now, which you'll throw out, but it's just buying some space. With Regen and Heat locked in together, Tinker kills off the Brewmaster in the middle lane as well. So already 2 for 0 in favor of Virtus Pro. Like, they're playing defensive and they're still finding kills for a lineup which really like levels up nicely into the mid game. This for me is a massive concern for MVP. I'm still trying to understand March pick, like the Warlock pickup.
It's just a hero that you really like to play, and to be honest, it's so powerful once you got that lock. The problem is the cooldown is insanely long.
Yep, we'll have to move a little bit closer, man. Because I kind of want to be here just in case something like this happens. So Smile, he's doing a little bit of a de-warding at the moment. He can't reach him in time to get the shackle, so Smile will get himself quite safely back into the lane. God, how he's actually looking in that middle lane. I guess 14 for 2 up against a Brewmaster. He's got 18 for 3, so it's really nice farm coming in for the Brewmaster. But yeah.
The primary concern is not necessarily Level 6 9. What do you do with that? So the two supports, we know that they've been roaming around a lot and not doing much of anything. Top lane's not doing well. Top lane's not doing well. Sure, even your Warlock, let's say he's RVP. He hits level 6. Maybe you drop a rock and win the fight and get a power. So that's he's gonna be out for a long while. So I think MVP is just doing nothing for the next 15 to 20 years.
And right now, and they're already Jotum, Regent, he's actually got arrowed up. God, he's trying to run himself off to the side at the moment, into the tree line. There was actually a bit of a Brewmaster brawl there, but he can't finish off God. Meanwhile, back into the mid, Jotum's able to get the arrow in, so he's able to get the last hit into the wisp, but God stays alive and moves away from these Brewmasters, these little Brewlings.
So you were saying early on you're worried about Virtus Pro coming out a little bit weak? Out of the gates? Nothing looking like weak right now, and they have a lot of big timing windows. MVP is not doing much for the next 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So I feel like Virtus Pro is a very comfortable position. Once their teacher gets a future travel, hopefully if you're Kilo, a little bit trouble. I just think that Virtus Pro has a much superior draft, even though they didn't lay anything that was expected to. It's just working out fine in the early.
Sorry about this as well. Oh, they'll see this. They see the menu on our live stream. Yeah, because this is me taking over now. I'm sorry. I'm not seeing enough of what I want to see. Sorry, people. All right. So well, middle lane, Tinker. Wow, look how aggressive he's being. He's got split available, but if you don't go and commit this, he's going to go for the split. They really want him down in VP. They're going to bring in a double hero support. Regent had to leave him for dead right now because he can't actually help him up. So the okay, Warlock dropping the rock down. They will get the kill on the Tinker, but they committed two ultimates, and now Regent. There comes in the Skywrath Mage, throwing in his own ultimate. The Brewmaster, well, he's back to his normal self. March, Smile, wonderful body block with also that little battery assault. March, he's got a stick charge to keep him alive. Jotum, no arrow for 4 seconds. He's going to get himself away from this one, while Illidan still battling up against the Brewmaster. He's really out of mana though, so we can't do much more up against the Brewmaster, especially when he picks up an Invis rune. But that's a lot of commitment from MVP to get those kills.
I like the fact that they actually went for it. Sure, it was a lot of commitment. Drop, but that's basically what they want to do. They use the first ultimate, they go back to farming. Clockwork hanging on the bottom lane. He's only level 4 though. He is playing extremely bad.
Yeah, look at Smile. He knows what he can do. Like, it's a battery assaulted chicken at the moment, and he
go through. He's gonna walk it off. He has to reach his speed, but of course he does have a very low base. He's gonna come through. There is no arrow by Miranda or
There's actually more support coming in from March, so maybe Smile's overcommitted himself at the moment. He's getting Shadow Worded up, but he's still got that little path, and Illidan now arrives. So Illidan, he's got the ult, he drops it over on Heat. There's commitment for kill right there. They still know March is in the tree line. The rocket from Clockwork will give that extra vision, and the arrow as well from Jotum, able to connect on the Warlock. And that's a double kill in favor of Illidan.
Unfinished, like a terrible.
Can he get a crit?
Oh, he's gonna get the kill!
He's gonna get the
March! He's got it!
Evasion?
No. The arrow was also coming in there from Jotum to ensure the kill in region. He didn't stick with him. He actually just backed it up because he was so low and they were fighting underneath March the Machines and underneath the tier 1 tower to get that kill.
Well, there's a lot of action. Toby, let's get a quick check in terms of how Tinker's doing in the current gold, because I'm very curious whether he is close to the BLT. Not at all. that's a spot you want to be, right, if you're MVP, because you just hit your level 6, running these ganks actively. The next step is actually get those towers, and I think with the start that they have, even those 2 and 7, I think they're actually okay.
Man, I'm not going to say they're going to look absolutely swanky, because right now, like, as far as like gold as well as experience, it's actually quite, it's a lot closer than I thought it was going to be. I was expecting to bring that up, it was about 2,000 gold in experience, but it's a little bit off that. The problem I still feel is the timings for MVP, they come and they're very, very sporadically. You got Skywrath Mage coming in, he's going to nuke down forever with his ultimate, concussive as well as orb, and it's his low, but he's still got ultimate. In fact, he wants to die right now. John throws the arrow out, it actually forces March to move up. Hellfire Blast, more orb damage, March is dead. Even with phase boost, there's no way he can outrun this lineup of Virtus Pro. The support's coming in, they know Enet's in the tree line, but Enet, remember, he doesn't care about this. He lets the ulti trigger, Illidan returns, and they just focus on this wisp. Well, do they? The Brewmaster, they sealed him! He can't get his ulti off, the Brewmaster can't go anywhere. This become 11 for 2. Region, he doesn't have Tether or Marble, so the Hellfire Blast will hold him here. Forev, he's trying to get some core stacks up. He might get a kill here on Jotum. Yep, he does. And Enes, TP's out, Quill Spray, he's got it! It's a double kill for Forev. Virtus.pro really overcommitting themselves. Didn't have to dive any further to kill up that Wisp.
I'm surprised that Forev did not go on the Skywrath Mage because he has a very low base armor. You could get a quite easy kill on that as well. Personally, I'm not a big fan of Warriors, though. They have no upkeep, which is actually a big part of how but he's got the stats plays a lot to
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Fusion being very active for him because normally you see him jump up to level 6.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
I'm not a massive fan of it, dude. I'm not a massive fan of it. Right now, like, Wisp priority, like, all of the team of MVP's priority was to crack level 6 and then try and go to a little bit more of a global kind of pressure movement. But now they're just trying 4-man force on the bottom lane. This is very reminiscent of the very early days of Korean Dota, where it's like, okay, things get rough, we group up together. It's either a 4-1 split or it's a 5 all together and just force out the tower. And denial from Jotum nicely timed as well. But this is also interesting. Oh, Forev! Illidan nuking the crap out of him, and he's actually in a little bit more trouble now. That's Quill Spray. He had 5 stacks up on him. Enes just wants one last Hellfire Blast. The Moonlight Shadow's actually been triggered as well. It's probably for an engagement on the bottom lane. It is too much. The Cog's pushing him back. Smile, he's so deep under that one. Much sort of drop down the rock, but Smile, he's under the cover, but the immolation is burning him up. He's so low. The Wisp balls come through at the last moment, and now we'll be able to pick up the kill. So we go 5 to 11 now on the board.
Wisp is inching closer and closer to level 6. Of course, you're saying Wisp is not getting level 6, even though he's getting a ton of experience. He might get ganked.
He's too far.
Well, he's got the wards if he wants to fight this right now. Slow's gonna come in from concussive shot. He's gonna drop the ward.
The Hellfire Blast that's connected. He's dead. Sealed. The second you come too close to that Skywrath Mage, you don't find straight away. He's just gonna seal you up and you can't do anything. Brewmaster saw on the top lane, and now you get the same thing happening to the Shadow Shaman in the river.
Consider it's still doing okay for MVP, but Tinker wants to get the he's gonna find it right now after the attack. I think things are gonna get much more difficult because something you brought up during the drafting stage is what exactly is the plan against the split push. They don't have, unless you have a Shadow Shaman getting a Blink Dagger and you're basically sitting duck, because what MVP is really good at is being that death ball down the mid lane.
Yep.
You can't do a death ball down the mid lane if your 2 side lanes are being pushed.
Yep. I love it already. First item you get to see over on Illidan, the Skywrath Mage. Picks up the Rod of Valor. He has another tower. It does go the way of MVP as far as the tower's dead, but it's a second denial of a tower for Virtus.pro. In fact, for both the towers so far of TI4, not a single one has been claimed legitimately by T. Now Smile, with his level 6, just jumps in, and again, Brewmaster. He can't get out this one. The one big thing for him, though, is that Illidan didn't have the ultimate, so if he just survived a little bit longer, he might be able to get his split off, but it just took too long, and now, all for Rev. Where's the Jotum arrow? He's hiding inside the pit, and it was a relocate.
Going to the top, I think.
No, that was a relocate out to try and find a kill while up on top lane. He managed to get a kill on Wraith King, which is okay, his ulti was still on cooldown. Get out this one. Smile at the invis room before, he's going to get a collateral kill here. He won't escape, or Smile! His timing was a little bit off, he's got to hold him inside the cog that he's sticking up with here at the moment. A cog burn might in fact kill him off at the moment, but he doesn't want to lock himself under the tower. He had the mana for it, but very wisely he just waits it off. He's got a bottle charge this at the right time as well in case he gets hit by the spirit. He waits it. The Moonlight Shadow protection gets him away.
Just talking about that previous solo kill that he did on the Wraith King, I think if you're Virtus.pro, you're very happy with that. You give him support Wraith King just to make sure that he can't push one of the tower with the wards. So I feel like that's actually a poor usage of that wards. And speaking of perhaps a little bit of trouble,
the arrow won't be able to connect, but Illidan won't really care about this. They just seal him up so there's no Quill Spray, but he knows there's no stun. Really smart from Forever, he gets himself away. It was available once that arrow went out, because basically Hellfire Blast, Clockwork, as well as the arrow. Tinker and Skyra were the other 2 involved in that fight, had nothing to give.
This is a very important counter. Actually, a power play from the last they definitely go for the team. Here comes the trap for one more. Just yet. The last
Dire's middle tower has fallen.
Needs a blink dagger. desperately.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
How is that Brewmaster actually looking as far as like, okay, it's 3.6k. He's actually almost there, so it's only 200 or so, 300 gold away. Nice Observe Ward coming in from NS, so very aggressively wanting to watch MVP closely. So we do have movements. I'm actually starting to hear that now. So it looks like Luminous might actually have his audio back again. Jono, Ferret, he's coming in really close at the moment. He's got March behind him with the level 1 ultimate, but that's basically all they really have.
Toby.
So, yes, I hear you.
Do you hear me? Do you hear yourself? All right, here comes the fight.
Rev
is actually getting caught in, but the big rock's gonna come their way. The real KO from Real Sun, no, it's actually canceled. So he's straight up dead. Meanwhile, Ursa on the bottom lane, he's gonna be dead as well. And G is dropping down multiple March. You gotta kill G. He's definitely the most prized kill. In fact, they're chasing Jodam though. Jodam leaps at the Bona Bash. Nicely done. G's now being chased around, cycling him up in the air. The rocks just moving around, not really doing too much. They actually find NS. NS though, he's so damn tanky. They actually get him killed as well. Jodam's stuck there. Jodam's gonna be dead as well, and it's gonna be MVP Phoenix that's winning this fight. If they get Illidan, that's gonna be the biggest prize of them all. Illidan's gonna be dead as well. That's a 4-for-0 fight, and MVP Phoenix is bringing down the beatdown to Virtus Pro. What a play from the Koreans.
Man, they give you audio, and then all of a sudden, MVP gives us a good fight for themselves.
MID representative for the Koreans.
Yeah, maybe the case too.
Okay.
But still, that's one small victory then base to get. You've still got to check out towards the top lane, where God, he's got these BTs up, he's got 2,000 gold, he's going to become a lot more maneuverable. This is one fight that MVP won, but they still committed basically everything they had in order to win it. And VP are the ones that can still turn this around easily by just a good...
Still worth it in the end, and that means QO will now have a Blink Dagger finally, as he's just picked up 2,200 gold. March is also working on Aghanims. In fact, he's over halfway there already. It's just, again, you could see the potential here. Just those early 2 denies stop so much for MVP. I think they would really be stomping, and MVP would be forced to like go for a total split push if it hadn't been for those first 2 denies.
Yeah, I mean, the last team fight was really detrimental for VP, but even so, I think VP are in much better position early on in the game than I expected.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Just keeping the other lanes busy. Against the team that's pushing really hard and you get towers, then you will be in much better position than the enemy team expects you to be.
Double damage. Dire's middle tower is
Meanwhile,
under
we're going to get closing, and we're going to work off the same microphone here. So.
It's amazing.
Oh, standard. Oh man, Shadow Shaman. He go for Blink as well. I'm assuming, like looking at him.
He has to. Like, if you have someone who can actually go and catch this Tinker, if you don't, like, no one's gonna catch Tinker when he has his Blink and his Dagon.
Right.
He already has the Blink, and of course, I'm expecting him to go Dagon. He could go Hex as well, just to stop the Brewmaster from getting his Blink down. We will see. Dagon is very standard, I would say.
Look at this interesting play from Virtus Pro. They had the Tinker like really hardcore pushing out this bottom lane, and they're waiting for somebody to try and defend that tier 2 and catch him out. They didn't find anybody, so instead they're just going to be smoking. But in the meantime, they also got some really good aggressive vision up.
Yeah. They're getting the wards down. They're really important. But meanwhile on top lane, MVP is just forcing up here. I don't think they can get anywhere though if the Tinker just comes here to March. So I think right now VP is kind of outmaneuvering MVP. And MVP, they need to keep going. All the movers are ready. It's go time, but VP are just stalling it very nicely.
Yeah, they have to be able to find that pick off on the Tinker before they go for these pushes. QO blinks away just in time, still gets hit by the rocket. A lot of burst damage coming his way, and he's just going to try and teleport away. But the Skywrath Mage ultimate will put a stop to that one. Illidan crushing him bottom lane. It looks like, quick teleport away there from the Mirana.
He hurt so much. He did tremendous damage. Ancient Seal was still on him as well. So you're looking at 1,000 damage going through 45% increase. That's a lot of damage, man. It really hurts.
You know, Alliance were already like, they were the ones for me, so frequently picking up the Skywrath Mage as a support. Just because of the fact that it was so good versus the Brewmaster, and we're seeing that was as a support. Now here, the core is even better just because even though Brewmaster is really tanky, you're not only silencing up, but you can actually still burst him down, as we can see time and time again. That Skywrath Mage ultimate is just too much burst damage for even a Brewmaster to handle.
Yeah, and I think he's gonna rush the Blade Mail now. There's nothing else to go for. If you get the Blade Mail, then you can stop this kind of burst just coming in. But VP have been organizing it very well. They always go with a Radiant Stun or something to set it up. at least not in the last case maybe, but every other time they have been stunning. It doesn't matter if you have a blade mail, it's too late. Damage from Skyrim is really fast.
Two-man rotation to the top lane, MVP. They're going to go for the relocate, trying to catch out Illidan. Illidan has no escape mechanism, and so he's going to be caught here, trying to throw out the silence, and will be able to teleport away. Unbelievable play by him. NS is going to be caught in the word trap. He's going to try and first get as much distance with this one reincarnation he has, but unfortunately, without a blink dagger or anything, there's no real escape, so he's just going to be kited around and taken down. Still, though.
I was going to say space, but then again, nothing really went down on any other lane while he died, so at least Tinker is farming the enemy close as well as the lane, and he's looking at quite a lot of gold now.
What do you think about this more offensive pickup here from Illidan? Like, for example, in that sort of situation, he teleported away, which is great, but it seems like Force Staff would be a great item for him to have. Instead, he goes for the Ron Betos.
I would say Rumble. I think looking at mid here, he's caught out. Silence, but he does go down.
Oh, beautiful. They just threw so much just to kill the Brewmaster instantly, and now MVP can't possibly fight. Reason's getting too close, but he still goes down. I have no idea.
He's going down.
Oh, that blade mail doing so much work to God, but he's still able to get out just in time. Blinks himself away. Now Karev going to be caught inside the cause. He's going to get at least one kill here. But unfortunately, nothing else going to be found. There's just no support for him. He has that blink dagger, though. He's going to go for Jotum. Has a shock in just a second, but the silence comes out just in time. Illidan will put a stop to that one. Heen has to back himself away. Jotum actually picks up a double damage, so he doesn't even have to go back.
He's quite fine, but these fights, MVP are just being crushed in team fights, and that's the one scenario where they should be the stronger ones, because split up game, then VP has really good ganks with the Mirana, Clockwork, etc. But if they die in teamfights like this with the Golem, then they don't really have any outs. This is their one trick, you know? This draft from MVP is a one-trick pony, really. So, if you lose these fights, it's very hard to recover.
So this is something, the Skywrath Mage Ultimate, right? It's always kind of like a trolley pub, I would say. When you get level 16, you have an Aghanims. Do you really see that actually being that viable, or do you think he should be going for like more defensive items, maybe pick up a Scythe of Vice? Like, how much value do you put on the Aghanims upgrade for a Skywrath Mage core?
I would say you should get like a PKB, just so it's unstoppable, because even with just your Q and just being in the fight, you do tons of damage. You don't really need the Axe, you burst all your mana on that one trick, and then you don't have enough to even chase people down with Arcane Bolt or Concussive Shot. So I would say go for BKB, then nothing can really stop you. The only way that they can stop you is like a short stun from the Infernal dropping on you. Yeah, you don't really care about that.
Yeah, I totally agree. I'm hoping he doesn't go for an Aghanims here with that Ogre Club. I'm hoping he goes for BKB and then a Scythe Device personally, because I just, for me, the Aghanims upgrade, it's like, it costs so much mana still, and that is still a big issue. Like, double drop ultimates, but then you're out of mana entirely. It's like,
You're gonna be hitchhiking back to base too many times to go with that. One downside to mid, or we can go with a blink here from QO maybe.
Smoke has been popped. They're going to find Illidan. Good silence comes out just in time to stop QO's ultimate, but he's still going to be caught. That's still wards being used, though, just to kill a Skywrath Mage.
Yeah, those wards can only drop because he doesn't know what's straight behind the Skywrath. And if there's 4 people there, they will need these wards or they lose another team fights. But
at the same time, that's going to stop their push.
Although they don't really have the damage now. Infernal is going to be up to 5 seconds though, so at least they have this. Q is so aggressive.
Dude, this guy just always looking for those kills. He does give a little bit of room now. They're going to start laying some damage down on this tier 2 MVP. Not afraid to group up.
Stopping this push though, like with one hero, and on bottom lane we have Mirana pushing that. So the damage from having to drop your wards for a kill. If you do that, you can't take the tower that easily. TP attempt on bottom with Wisp.
Yeah.
Find Jotum actually.
He tried to sandwich him, but all about like for me the Shadow Shaman. If they can just relocate the Shadow Shaman around to try and catch out the Tinker.
Yeah.
Oh not much you can do about that one. Take a look at the net worth. We've got the top 2 on the board right now, both the Tinker as well as the Skywrath Mage. We've got over a 2,000 gold lead for Virtus Pro and experience over 3,000. So VP still controlling this game very well. Of course, it can all come to just a very, very poor end. That's going to be an easy kill. Up farther up, they do get the Warlock at the same time with the burst damage between the Skywrath Mage as well as the Tinker. So
pick off simultaneously on the same lane. Not bad by VP.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
And you mentioned like how VP are ahead in gold and so on, but the big thing is not any number in this game. The big thing is that MVP have a lineup that relies on winning early on. If you don't win early on, it's so hard to come back. And I don't know if they have it in them. I would say the pressure is on this Bristleback to find something, because I don't see the Warlock making a huge difference later on, and Brewmaster, you know he has the good team fight, but if you're already losing the team fights, he's not gonna be the one to save you. So Bristleback has to add up some items and carry this game. There's no other option. But,
and unfortunately, he already built for like very early game. He went for the mech, he went for like the blade mail, and so he doesn't really have those big carry items just yet. And it's going to be a while. And even if he does get there, he's still going to have to be going up against a Mirana, a Skywrath Mage, a Tinker, and a Wraith King, all who are very strong, all decent semi carries in their own right going into late game. So you're right. I think MVP they kind of had to take at least a Rax by 30 minutes, and the fact that tier 2s are still up, every single one of them for Virtus Pro at 25 minutes is not a good sign.
Oh yeah, it's pretty horrible, but he is going to go for something with Sam here. I guess he's going to go for Halberd, but even Sanjasha would be okay in this game, because there's no real right-click damage coming out so far from VP. Though it could be nice to have later on when there's some actual damage coming out. And I like this. MVP, smart. They need to do something like this. Even though it might get scouted now by Rocket from Clockwork, I think that might be too late to stop this.
Yeah, I mean, with the wards already set down and Virtus Pro being so spread out, they can't really intercept it. And they've got the physical damage, the minus armor, both from the Bristleback, so I think that was a great idea from them. The problem is, I just don't really see that Aegis being enough to give them an advantage in the next team fight. Virtus Pro are still going to be able to burst down a couple of heroes in the back, and Bristleback is going to be left alone by himself. Yep, they're going to go for the Brewmaster, bursting him down with that Dagon. Here comes that Warlock ultimate, though. Going to be able to take out 2 real quickly. Reincarnation. Arzard should go down here as Farad's going to commit to that kill, but he gets really low and is trying to back himself away. God teleports out, and Ed's going to do the same. The lack of stuns are just not working out for MVP in the slightest, as all Virtus Brew.
To make this work, they have to get something out of it. They need to take the power first. That was quickly trying to take for any kills they can get here, but
he needs to find that stun onto Jottam. The leap away, not going to be found just yet. Jottam is going to be caught and should be taken out with that last right click. So at least he gets something out of that ultimate being used, not only to kill in the Mirana, but also secures them the tier 2 tower. I just feel like that Brewmaster ultimate needs to be having a larger impact than just that. The teleports away, man. MVP looked in a really good position, but then God teleported away and NS teleported away and just kind of spoiled that team fight entirely for MVP.
Way too aggressive to fight. Like, he has to be more in the back, because if he's that far ahead, then it's very easy for VP to just react to it. They can hook him, they can silence him, they can do so many things to just shut him down. And that's exactly what happened, and then people can TP out. Brewmaster has to get the split off, else the fight is going to be too hard for MVP. And even with double buyback there, you got 1 tower, 1 kill for it. It's not really that good of a trade. I guess they still have the Aegis at least.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Bristleback.
I was kind of expecting. Well, I guess I was about to say I usually expect Halberd for a Bristleback, but at the same time, who are you really going to be disarming this game? I mean, there's really more magic damage that you're afraid of.
QO? Yeah, no, there's something wrong.
Oh, what timing on that blink. Barely able to dodge the hook shot. Now he's going to actually reveal the Clockwork, but they're not going to go for the fight.
Well, might still be a fight here, though, actually, after this. He's a little bit far out, and he does not have a good 47 seconds. Might just be a sacrifice here. I don't think they can save it.
Yeah, some of his team did come in. Arrow as well as Skywrath Mage ultimate being used. Oh, this is a beautiful cogs though. Blood God's gonna be caught out by Heem. That's perfect. We're trapping him up and taking him down real quickly. Forev moves forward. Good relocate. Now slowing down Illidan. They can catch up with him, get this hero pick off, and get most of the cores on the side of Virtus Pro. I think they can finally push uphill. But the BKB is gonna be activated. Smart play there, trying to stop this slow, and I don't think Forev, unless he gets some sort of S and Y proc here, oh, that physical damage doing so much. QO. Odd blink there. Yeah.
For sure. But yeah, BKB keeps him alive on Skywrath. Still though, having to use one of those charges is always annoying, especially for just running away, losing your 9-second BKB for that. But that was amazing by Rasta, catching out the Tinker and solo killing him. It was so huge. He gave a nice chance now to give it some damage, and there is no March going down. Cogs is still there.
The Cogs doing so much. Brewmaster immediately jumps in. He knows he has to make the most of this time while the Tinker's down, so...
Power and just let Brewmaster straight space like this. It's actually perfect right now. He's just trying to keep the enemy away.
Yeah, they already killed the Fire Panda, so there's not much damage coming out, but you're right, he's still forcing a lot of Virtus Pro back. The double Golem's doing a lot of work to that tier 3 tower, and it finally does go down. Nanet, he's going to lose his reincarnation here, but it's worth it. 4F does what damage he could to Illidan with that Blade Mount, but he still falls, and here comes that March Machine's going to do a terror. Cogs pushing 4F back, that is perfect, and there's nothing MVP can do to save him. Again, that Aegis.
And Bristleback bullied this much. There's so many things being thrown at him. It's just being brought down. I think most of it is attributed to Ancient Seal, like, just increasing their damage so much, especially when you have a Dagon on Tinker. They get 5 actually by now. So, yeah, it's nice to bring him down with the Aegis as well. Kind of surprised me that he died twice there. Tier 3 tower down, and MVP, they are getting the roll on now. They need to remove the other tier 2 towers as well. They could of course go back to the high ground push again, but it is harder to execute, so I would say only if you get a pick off first.
Right. Yeah, I would say for me, if I was in MVP's position, I would go, okay, we're getting really close to losing this game. At a certain point, Virtus Pro are just going to get too much. Like, even the Mirana and the Wraith King are going to start building into some damage. So we've got maybe 5 minutes to smoke up, find a pick off on the Tinker, and just run down that middle lane. Once they get a Rax, you know, it just a 1 Rax advantage gives you a lot more room to operate with push lineups. He almost running into God there. He was so close to catching him out.
Looking for these solo kills again. I'm actually a little bit sad. This is why I'm always sad when I see him steal so much into stats on Warlock. He doesn't have any points yet into Upheaval, and I think that's a great spell to have in a game like this. So big fights, so big flashes with so many heroes. That's an amazing skill. You can stand pretty far away casting it as well, so it would do a lot of work. And nice ward here by Ennis, sneaking behind the enemy tower and placing the ward.
Yeah, nice one. Virtus Pro not really like sitting back and just letting MVP determine where the pickoffs are going to happen. Virtus Pro have been doing a good job being aggressive on their own and looking for pickoffs and being able to actually get some decent amount of towers. I mean, they took down every single tier 1. All the tier 2s are still up for MVP, but to only be 1 or 2 towers down from a push against a push lineup like this is not that bad.
Yeah, it's not that bad, and it is, as you say, it goes for the fact that they have been so proactive. They are the ones looking for the fights, and they're actually forcing a whole lot of the action. Sure, they ran in a little bit too deep with Wraith King and then got caught out with God as well, which led to them losing the tier 3 tower mid. But other than that, I would say they're playing the right style. Put pressure on the pushing team. If you can gank them a lot before they actually get to push your towers, that's gonna stop them. And I like the Diffusal Blade now as well on Mirana. She can actually burn through one of the Infernals immediately, and it's fairly low cooldown to burn through the second one. So actually say how long cooldown is, but it's only a few seconds.
Yeah, and even if the golems are not being used in that team fight for whatever reason, still really good for hiding around heroes such as the Bristleback. Yeah, 4Ev. They don't really want to go for the Brewmaster.
Well, it's very scary.
Oh god. 4Ev still gets hit by the arrow, but fortunately he was able to turn his back in time, and that means there's certainly not enough burst damage to take him down. If he can get a VKB though, he's going to be a big terror in these team fights.
Yeah.
There won't be much to stop him at that point.
Not too far away from it either. Quite far.
So really taking your advice into hand, this Bristleback being prioritizing a lot of the farm. God, oh, nice! They caught him out and they're gonna throw everything just to be able to take him down immediately out of the team fight. Jotum trying to teleport away once again. These APs, Illidan's gonna do it as well, but oh, he doesn't get away. The Golem's too much right-click damage. That being said though, that was wards and Golems being used. Can they really push uphill and take a Rax without those critical pushing abilities?
I don't think they can, because there's still buyback available on the Tinker. But even so, that's a huge force, you know, taking down the core and Tinker, that's so amazing for them. So now, if you go push high ground, might be able to force a buyback from Tinker. Actually, they should be able to. And then they have damaged them even more economically, even if they can't force the Rax already.
Right, maybe they can start doing some damage onto the range racks and just loosen that up a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
20 seconds. We'll see whether or not God hasn't used it just yet. They're going to start going in. Range racks is going to be their first target. 33 minutes in, MVP. Yeah, I guess so. Duo immediately going to try and drop that Brewmaster ultimate while those two heroes are down. Get some additional pickoffs. Arzard's going to be the first target, and as he has that reincarnation, they're not going to try and focus him down. So a whole set of racks gone in the mid lane in exchange for keeping gold on Tinker.
I don't agree with this at all. I think they should just evolve back and stand March. There's no way they can push high ground when they don't have the Rocks or Rasa traps. Might be able to find some pickup. Looks to be getting away out. He's looking for vengeance, man.
Oh, the slow is going to ensure that Heen will go down. It's going to be the Tinker laser that secures that last hit. And, well, the next setup, MVP, if they can start controlling the map, I mean, they've got that constant mid-push. They can start going for some of these tier 2s. They don't even necessarily have to commit much, I don't think. I think Bristleback can just be on the front lines, and with all his physical damage, they can get some tier 2s. They find a pick-off, they go uphill, or take Roshan. That's going to be coming up in just a few minutes. So there are many options now for MVP, whereas just a minute or two ago, they only had one real play, which was find pick-off on Tinker, take a Rax.
These guys have to bang heat. Like, he has amazing.
Yep.
He has caught Tinker several times. I think Team might have been a little bit too aggressive, but also he has been phenomenal with his positioning. And here's the Invis looking for a kill.
Yep, they're gonna first go for him. Fared's gonna pop his BKB, starts going for NS, but that's gonna be just a reincarnation for him. He wants to go for more, starts going for God immediately, but Ghost Scepter will save him. Oh, that's beautiful! Locking in two, God jumps in aggressively, trying to take out both of those heroes, and they do successfully. God is going to be taken out though. Fared does manage to find that kill, turns around, knows he's not going to be escaping from this one. If he could turn and fight, the Blade Mail doing a lot of work, but Heen, nobody's low enough for him to get a kill.
Oh, man. Is he going to come here? Actually, Mirana could trying to defend with his wards, but Mirana, she does have this beautiful blade, so it's very hard to get away from this.
Hex, maybe with the shackle. Oh, the Skywrath. It's slow.
Coming in.
Yep.
It's gonna be hard.
The arrow, he couldn't get away from that one. With the arrow, that's going to ensure a team wipe there for Virtus Pro.
Now, Roshan spawned.
Yeah.
Right
Oh, man, that is perfect timing.
They could try and go for this as well, but look at the lanes. They need to deal with this push coming in everywhere. Horizon actually going for a solo push out on top of the lane with his relocate.
I mean, honestly, at this point, are you really using your relocate for anything better?
Is dead.
Yeah.
Nothing else to do, I guess. I'm not gonna go for Roshan yet, of course, Virtus Pro. Probably respecting a little bit the fact that they still have the rocks available in March, so they could go there and stuff. That was amazing for VP. This game is so alive, man. Any team can win this. It really is open. And have you seen Clopper's item, by the way?
Yeah, I've actually been wanting to talk about this for a while, because Virtus Pro, they're getting physical damage, right? They had the Diffuser Blade for the Mirana, and then they have this Maelstrom for the Clockwork. It's almost like Axe style, you know? Blade Mail and Mjolnir, if you can actually get the Mjolnir and have that static charge, that's going to be actually amazing.
1800 gold already.
Oh, Jot him! Get it! Oh, Jot him! They finally got their tornado, so it's gonna stop the TP. Yeah, I don't know, they're wasting a lot of time here.
It's fine, but they got the pickoff, so Jotum died, but that's not a huge deal. This is a support Mirana. Sure, she is trying to transition to some form of carry, but mostly just trying to kill Infernos fast and chase down the Rasta. Illidan walking into Rasta.
Oh, Heen blinking away just in time. If Illidan had actually dropped that ultimate, like that instant damage.
That was some fast reactions by Heen, because he had no vision, but all the fact that Skyrim was coming out there. So, very nice reaction, and Illidan, of course, knew that the Rasta was there with his sword.
Making sure that the Roshan is not going to be snuck in by Virtus Pro at any point in time. Looks like they're going to go for the tier 2 at top.
Either need to push bottom right now, or just set up the defense before the enemy team gathers up here. Because I would still say, with the 5-man gathered up, MVP is really strong. The only downside now is that 1 minute cooldown final split. They don't have the panda really ready for this fight.
Right.
But if you don't need to defend this, they're not getting anything out there.
Yeah, I expected the Tinker to be going into that bottom lane. He's just now teleporting in, but if he could have at least threatened that tier 2 a little bit and maybe forced MVP back. At this point, I think MVP had actually had an opportunity if they wanted to. It's risky, but they could have tried to gone uphill there.
Yeah,
you know.
maybe, but then again, they want to primal split whenever they go uphill.
Mhm.
You can't expect to take big team fight without it, and especially when you have a 16 on your Brewmaster. But I think this is the type of game where I would actually go for BKB before Aghanims on Brewmaster. That I don't think it makes
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
but all those times that we had died to the silence from Skywrath and
Right.
burst damage, this is one of those games where BKB is amazing.
Yeah, honestly, just having an additional stun has made a big difference for MVP when if the Brewmaster doesn't get off his ultimate and they don't have that Earth Panda for that additional stun or even the Cyclone to stop these teleports, it makes a huge difference in these team fights because they can't depend on the Shadow Shaman. That's the problem. He's got so many disables, but he's also so squishy, so he's been targeted.
Though. He's just going for a Tinker.
Mhm.
TI4 just being a man. Of course, he is bristleback, so he doesn't care that much about what's going on. He can just walk into the enemy. He has a blade mail, and no one really wants to burst on him. But right now, I would say VP, they have to respect MVP. There's a refresher right now done on Warlock. I think he showed it earlier. Yeah, he showed it now walking through the ward as well. So VP, they know that the next team fight is going to be really tough. And I think they just want to say something like that.
Yeah, Virtus Pro, they were signaling this earlier. They want a Moonlight Shadow, wrap around, and see if they can find a pickoff. Oh! He was able to blink away just before that, and the silence is going to fade soon, so he should be able to get off his ultimate. On the side, though, we also have March, who is being gone on, trying to lay down some golems to help out his teammates. He gets both of them off just in time, and well, he's going to try to get a big critical every single time, and he doing such a good job of prioritizing targets will ensure that God does go down there. Now the buybacks are going to start coming out. Virtus Pro losing a terrible fight.
This game, they better mind that this Tinker.
Yeah, at this point, MVP, they blew everything there, but it doesn't matter. They certainly have enough physical damage to take down this tier 2 as well as a tier 3 potentially. God, he just has to make sure he doesn't be dying to a blade mail at this point for the bristleback.
Exactly, running through, and this should be an easy Roshan as well. They're all heading towards the Roshan direction. They're taking a double damage if they check it now as well. Gotta pick it up from someone, probably just Brewmaster taking it. But this should be an easy road as well. And that was them not respecting the fact that the Refresher or Warlock is so incapable. Maybe if they got that pick on Brewmaster, it would actually be
Oh no, Arzard, he tries to go in with the cogs, but the Aegis is out of reach for him. Morev is going to be bursting. No, BKB will save him just in time.
And they also get a kill on Arzard here. It's amazing for MVP right now, and of course, they have only taken one set of racks, but with the items they can add up right now, they're looking great for just going and forcing next racks. This is BKB done on Brewmaster, and he has an Aegis. He could also just say for a buyback, but I would say just get that BKB.
You could see how sharply the gold has jumped up from those last couple of team fights for MVP, over 7,500 gold lead and over almost a 7,500 experience lead. Now, looking at this, I expected a Reaver. Bristleback actually had about 3,000 gold. I expected him to go for Reaver into a Heart. I thought just mass tanking up health at this point in time, because he's still dealing with a lot of burst damage, right? I figured just raw tank is what he needed, but instead he's going to go for more lockdown here and opts for the Skull Basher. What do you think about that?
This might work because of the delayed E-Blade coming out from Tinker, because he died and bought back. But once Tinker has his E-Blade, this is going to be a problem. He doesn't have massive HP on Bristleback, and E-Blade Dagon along with the Ancient Seal is killing you so fast. So you have to be very careful about it. Of course, getting Skull Basher is okay. The Super Basher, when you have a Missile Blade, is so good and reliable. You just run in on someone with a Bristleback. And I don't know, I would still say Heart was more reliable than what he's doing now.
EP, they're going to be 5-manning down the bottom lane.
Oh, they're going to knock on some doors. Like, they have the Refresher ready, and they have Warlock with his ulti as well. Just cooling off now. And VP, they're not being proactive anymore. They're kind of just sitting back. No push on mid lane, maybe scared of the Wisp relocate ganks, but they're not showing any activity now. They're not pushing down the lanes. I'm guessing they will take a fight early here before they reach high ground and try to revive MVP, but I'm not sure about that. That's a very scary play.
Yeah, this is a team you can't afford to let them set up with the wards and let them have easy golem setup. So if they can actually wrap around in some way and find a pick off. Unfortunately though, there's going to be no Moonlight Shadow off to it. And as he's going to be first gone on here in the middle lane, he does have reincarnation, so they don't care too much about him just yet. They do a decent amount of damage, and it's going to come back. Brewmaster does pop his ultimate. They're willing to throw everything here just to get this one pick off and maybe find another. Illidan's going to be forced into using his BKB and chase deep into the anti-V base. Main actually goes out, and that's perfect. Gets the bash as well. Illidan drops his ultimate. Forev is going to be bursted down here in just a second. He's staying alive. They didn't have the damage. Forev gets out, heals up a little bit more. God comes back in, bursts down the wisp, but it's just little plays here. They're still going to be losing this bottom set of racks.
Yeah, this is gone, and they lost 3 heroes already. I don't think there's any way to stop this. And I don't think there's any way to stop MVP in this position at all. MVP, I like it. Just backing out now. They know they're low HP. They don't want to give anything away and taking so much from the enemy. This push is going to come as soon as the refresher on Warlock ulti is ready again. And what are you going to do differently? If you don't push the other lanes before the enemy comes and knocks on your door, you cannot hold against this teamfight lineup for MVP. Like, I would say that's the big problem for them. But then, of course, the respect towards the Wisp and the relocate ganks, I can sort of understand it if you don't want to split push. But you can still do it with your BKB hero, like Scarif can split push and just TP out with BKB. Someone has to do it. You can take one.
Yeah, honestly, I expected. I never would have guessed.
Push the lane more.
Right. I never would have guessed that 45 minutes in, MVP would still be winning these team fights, because I really expected both the Wraith King and the Mirana to be making transitions into semi-carries at this point in time. But NS, he's stayed consistently. He's really been the warder the whole entire time, so he hasn't been able to afford much. The Mirana is getting there, but Mirana, I mean, kind of known as the core in general not to be able to throw out a whole lot of physical damage, especially when you're making that transition of support to semi-carry. Your damage is very lackluster, right? So with only a Diffuser Blade and potentially BKB soon, you're still not going to be that big of a threat, especially when every single hero has actually a lot of tank on the side of MVP. I mean, you just look at the Warlock, one of the heroes they'd love to be able to burst down real quickly. He's got almost 1800 health.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many tanky heroes, and he has a 4-staff now as well, so he can just escape. That's really strong. This Invis looking for an attempted kill on the Brewmaster. Just have a
Yeah, Arzard kind of stuck out here.
Fight is off, but this is not good work.
Oh, they actually went deep in with the relocate, but God was spamming out a ton of marching machines. They're still not getting any one kill. Reason is actually staying alive here. And Virtus Pro, they're just falling guys bash onto Illidan. Forev's gonna try and pursue that one. Gets the slow, not quite. Illidan trying to jump himself away. Unfortunately, he's got no real escape. If Forev can just keep up here. Oh, can he get the bash? Oh, they get the Hex, and that means Illidan will fall, and that actually should be the end of MVP. I don't think they're going to have any way to be able to defend this incoming MVP push, especially since double golems weren't even used in that fight, so...
Yeah, they weren't used. They have the refresh skills and golems already. So, yeah, this is pretty much over. VP cannot hold, and I would say VP played amazing early, but where they did not they were very active about fighting. If you first split push against a team fight lineup like this, playing around them, you can't let them count for a 5v5 fight. Especially when they saw the refresher, they still went in for an attempted kill. Right. I think that was the point where they got to see them get refresher and all their ults ready, and they have team fight lineup and control. Just split push for your tinker and try to play around your enemy. Like, they really set them back there.
MVP, they had a rough